Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Newbie Real Estate Investor of New Jersey show number 4. And I'm Jonathan Boyle.
And I'm Joey Chan. And this is Benz Jean.
I'm Benz Jean.
So, thank you. Welcome, Benz. We're gonna just start the show right off and, just tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
My name is Benz Jean. I'm a real estate investor. Been in business for a while. Been doing this for quite a long time. And tell me a little bit about you guys so we could catch up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure I started real estate investing about 2.5 years ago, working on about 8 projects at this moment, and looking to scale as always. What about you, Joey?
Yeah, same here. I've been a contractor for 16 years myself, and I started investing about 10 years ago, but really scaling up in the last 2 years, doing more fix and flips and a couple of buy and holds myself, and I'm also working on about 8 projects as well.
Good, beautiful. As far for myself, I've been doing it for like 17 years, and I've been doing a lot of part of the real estate from like loan officers, from the construction part, fix and flip, and I also do a lot of wholesale as well too. Just like there's different types in the business of real estate. It's a business.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. So if you could elaborate a little bit of how you actually got started. Let's bring it back to all the way to the beginning. I know it's been a while. But, just so people can kind of see, how you kind of transitioned into a real estate investor.
Wow. Well, when I got started, I could sit here all day to tell you guys the story. I actually started I work at a warehouse as a warehouse worker, driving a forklift, and then I met somebody while I was working there, and he introduced me to a gentleman that was doing real estate. And then from that point on, I kind of shadowed him around, kind of learned the business. And from that point on, and I started working as a loan officer. Fast forward, then I started investing in 2009. And then since then, this is what I have been doing. And it's been great. I can't complain.
Awesome. So, Ben, just to piggyback on that a little bit. So you're saying when you got started, you just shadowed someone.
I shadowed someone who was actually working as a loan officer, and I followed him around to understand the finance part of the business, how to calculate ratios, how to qualify a person, about credit. I started doing all of that. Prior to that, I owned a few properties at the time, but I didn't consider myself as an investor. I was just living the American dreams of owning homes, just like I was told to buy houses. When you get older, you retired, you could live off your properties, as rental income. So that's how I started. So when the market kind of crashed in 2007, 2008, really, I didn't really know which way to go. I owned a lot of properties at the time. I was losing the homes, and then that's when I decided I got to do something with myself. And then that's when I started with the last little bit of money that I had left, and I said, let me go ahead and invest. But prior to that, remember, I was shadowing all these people that had finance background, so I just didn't understand the construction part.
Okay. How'd you start learning to do that?
From the construction part, from many contractors taking my money, run with it, and then it kind of I had to grow up to understand that I didn't really take it as a business, from the beginning, because I saw it more as a passion, just like everybody else. But then when I realized how much money that I was losing, so now I kind of forced myself to learn the business, from different aspects, from the finance, from the construction part, start going to Home Depot, doing everything else like everybody else was doing, just like Joey was a contractor. Now at this point, if I go ask for an estimate, I already have a number in my mind how much it's going to cost. It might be better than me, but I have the experience to know this is how much money it's going to cost me. I might be off by a few dollars, a few $1,000s, but I'm sure Joey could elaborate for us on the construction part, which is, for me, that's the number one thing in the business. You gotta know your construction part. That's one way you're not gonna be able to succeed if you not be able to manage your construction.
That makes a lot of sense. I'll even admit, at this point in my business, I'm starting to teach myself like what the material costs usually are, what the labor costs should be as far as the work is concerned. And at the beginning, again, I'm only 2.5 years in. Like I'm seeing how much money I'm losing because I didn't originally know that stuff.
I agree.
So, that's definitely a great point that you brought out there.
Maybe you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah. So because I had a lot of experience with the construction itself, I was able to sort of save myself a little bit of money here and there, because I knew like if I went to Home Depot to buy this, if I went to a lumber yard to buy moldings, and if I went to Floor and Decor to buy tile, I knew that I could save money getting material. But at the same time, a lot of it, especially like let's say subcontractors, I use a lot of subcontractors. A lot of that, it's almost like a little bit of negotiation and also relationship building as well.
Correct.
Yeah. So that always helps you as well. Just building a lot of relationships. Whether you're gonna use the guy once, hopefully not, but you want to try everybody out. Try to find the ideal guy. Like for me, it's almost like a 4 to 5 year cycle with a certain subcontractor that I use a lot.
That's good. That's good. Relationship is good, and learn the business.
Yeah.
One way is that you might be 2 years in. I could learn from you. I could learn from him. You could learn from me.
Absolutely.
It's always good to surround yourself with people that's in the business so you could learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely makes a lot of sense. Again, I'm learning a lot from you just now, picking your brain.
No problem.
But that actually makes me ask another question.
Go ahead.
Now that you've been in the business for so long, do you typically hire out subs, or do you have like a whole construction team that you work with now?
For now, I have I hire subs for electric and plumbing, but as far as like the other stuff, I have my own contractor that do the work. I've been working with them for the last 2 years, and I move them from one house to the other. So usually I work at like 2 or 3 properties at a time, and so far it's been great. I can't complain, but I went through my share of problems of learning the business. Took me a few years to understand. I had to be established because once I chose this is what I wanted to do, so I had to learn a lot faster. I had to grow up.
It's a lot of growing pains. Trust me. We're going through a lot of these growing pains, and that's why we want to share with people. What actually goes on. And
Correct.
yeah, it's not HGTV.
It's only right for the new guys that's getting into the business, so they could learn from people like us who already have the experience, knowing what it takes to become an investor. I know a lot of them, they watch a lot of TV, HGTV, they think everything is, no. There's a lot of things that you have to learn. You make mistakes, it's okay to make mistakes, and you learn from your mistakes. But the bad part about it is that when you make a mistake in this business, it costs you money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're paying for the mistakes. Like
Exactly.
Literally, you're paying for it.
Yeah, you're paying for the education.
Yeah.
But Benz, that just from one topic to another. So, what areas do you typically invest in, and is there any specific reason why?
For me, as I mentioned, I never really pick any certain areas to do business. I'm always driven by the numbers because I try to learn every market. I could do business in Essex County. I could do business in Union County. I could do business in Middlesex County, Ocean County. It all depends on the numbers. Sometimes, I gotta add up the numbers to see, okay, if it's really worth my time to travel 45 minutes for a deal, or travel 30 minutes for a deal, or 25 minutes for the deal. At the end, it's all about the equity and the amount of money that I would like to make on a deal. We all have a number in our head that we try to make.
Right.
So with that target, that's me. I don't really have any specific area.
Okay. Yeah, because if I recall, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months back, another investor in the area posted a status, and you wrote that like you had a property, it was like in South Jersey or something. So you're pretty much all over.
No, I'm pretty much all over. With experience, I go for the deal. Wherever the numbers are, the deals make sense. Since I have my own crew, I'm able to move them around where I need them to be. So that's the reason why, it's just like I could do a deal in Essex County if my bottom number is going to be $40,000 profit, $30,000 profit. I could make $60,000 profit driving an extra 30 minutes. Why not?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's all about the numbers, and the good thing is that you have a lot of flexibility because it is your crew.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, to newer real estate investors, and even for myself, I'm curious, how'd you form your crew?
After a few mistakes, a few contractors ran away with my money. I kind of formed my crews. Like I pick one good one, and I see how it works, and I made him an offer. I asked him how much money is he looking for a week for his guys. So once I find out he's comfortable with the numbers, and I was able to say, okay, I'm gonna be able to pay you this, I'm gonna be able to pay you that. But what I bring to the table, I have my own van, my own tools, my own everything, and then I bring my own ideas, and then he also have his own ideas as well too. So we kind of combine together from that day, letting him know like, okay, we're gonna be a team. So we're working as a team. There's no I in team, so it's we.
Yeah, no, that's
excellent.
yeah, that's definitely a good point. You know, you can't do everything by yourself in real estate.
No, you can't. Like there's times like he'll take on the property for me. He has vision that I don't even see. Or same thing, vice versa, he'll tell me like, okay, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy that, and then we'll kind of bounce off each other. So now he's no longer a contractor, he's more so like, not a partner, but it's like a marriage, like we working as a team.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing something like that myself, for my own crew.
No, I think you should definitely do it. It's more advantage in that they're not looking at the money part. Like for example, most contractors, you agree on a number, they tell us, okay, it's gonna cost you $30,000, but once they open the wall, something else is, now they gotta charge you for it. But at the end of the day, but also you gotta take care of your workers as well.
Right.
So if you finish a project early, I'll give them a bonus. So
Nice.
give them some kind of motivation to,
To get things done
to
quickly.
get things done quicker.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's excellent.
That just brings me to another question. As you were growing in the business, what's one of the best pieces of advice that you got?
Going into business, like one thing I always learned, he always tells me not to take on too much, try to handle as much, try to have control of whatever that I'm doing. So, which is one of the number one thing, even with today's, I'm doing a lot of flips. I try not to take on too much. I gotta be able to, I'm very hands-on in the business. It's not just like I'm a guy, like sometimes people see me with suits, that's all no. I'm very hands-on. I come to the job site to learn what's going on, and I have my workers that I work with. We communicate a lot to understand how to scale everything down. So I would say just be able to control your business. It's a business. It's not. It's a lifestyle, but it's a business.
I'm assuming you mentioning that you have some experience then where you may have mismanaged a little bit.
Yes. Of course, the mismanagement, especially when I used to have a lot of rental properties, I didn't take it as a business. I mismanaged a lot of money, during those years. But I kind of learned from it, and then
It's ghost people.
Yeah, it's okay. We still on track.
Yeah, just a
So-
strong wind. Don't worry about it.
No. With the question is that I did a lot of mismanagement. I didn't really take it as a business. That was one of the reasons that I failed. I used to have a lot of rental properties back then, and I lost a lot. And then I kind of learned from the mistakes that I made, and then now I'm moving forward.
Got it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that you're able to recover from that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. That was always the goal. Once I made those mistakes back in 2005, 2006, the goal was to rebuild. There's always a second chance. We're in a great country in the world. You could do anything you want to do. Your past is not your future.
Yeah, I agree. So let's jump ahead a little bit and let's talk about what you're kind of doing today. What are you working on now? How do you have your business now?
Right now, my business is a little bit more established after many years where before I was a one-man show, doing everything myself. Now I hire a lot of people to help me with the administrative work as far as for my company, for the rentals, for the constructions, and I'm trying to create other avenue outside of real estate as well, which is the core of my business. I'm always going to be in real estate. I'm never one day not to do it, but I'm also, when I realize a lot of people in the business, they want to come into the business, two things that's always stop them. They can't get financing, and then they either doesn't have credit. So right now, I own a credit company, and I'm in the process of opening a mortgage company as well, and hard money as well, to kind of give back a little. And also in the process of doing a little bit teaching, education, like for new investors that's coming in, I want to be able to teach them some of the mistakes that I made, and then so they could learn from it, and then now so they'll be able to move forward. Create a platform that will be a lot easier for them, that where I didn't have nobody to create that platform for me. So I'm doing a lot of education right now as well too.
Nice. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the education and the event you will have coming up.
Okay. Right now I have about like 3 students that I'm working with. I'm kind of doing a little bit mentorship, with them, teaching them about wholesale, teaching them about finance, teaching them about credit, teaching them how to find money, how to find properties, how to calculate ARVs, what properties to buy, what property not to buy, so they don't make the same mistakes. And then at the same time, I'm also going to be doing a master class that's coming up in July, which is going to be a big event. And I want to share some of my secrets, some of the things that kind of helped me to make me the person that I am today, to make me successful in this business, share my failures and share my success a little bit, so people understand it's like, there's so much in this business you can learn, and then that will be it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I did have maybe 2 more.
Okay, that's fine. I'm here. I'm here all day. I'm coming in.
No. We talked a little bit about this offline before cameras started rolling.
Okay.
As far as better yet, how did you start funding your first deals, and then now how do you fund it?
Okay. Well, my first deal, I bought a property, actually, a 2-family in Roselle that I have bought as a first-time home buyer. I actually live in one of the units, and I rented the second unit, and I also finished the basement. So if I remember correctly, I had got an FHA loan when I first started, and then with that, my mortgage payment was like $1,600 at the time, and I think I was collecting a total of like $3,200 in rental. And then I was basically living rent-free. And then from there, I kind of refinanced that house, and I took a line of credit against it, and I bought myself a second home. And from there, it's history. And then now I couldn't refinance anymore, so I started looking for hard money or private money. And then so I was always able to have the down payment to use for my next deals. And then so that's how I funded my deals. And then every year I try to pick up one property here, 2 property there, and then more and more each year, and then I just keep adding up.
Yeah, just start snowballing, because
Correct.
all the rental income that you're making
Yeah.
now could go down towards the down payment
Down
for another
payments.
house.
Down payments, and I was able to refinance some of them because I was building equity. So back then the market was moving was moving very fast at a fast pace, and I was able to get some money and raise money to to fund my projects.
Got it. Awesome.
Yeah. So I don't have any other questions.
All right. I did actually have a few more.
No, that's fine. We're here.
Yeah.
Do you read any books or listen to some podcasts that maybe you might recommend to the audience?
Oh man, right now in my car I do Audible because I don't really have the time to sit down and to read. I'm reading a book called The Laws of Thinking, which is about manifestation. It's about like anything you want in life, you just gotta go for it. You have to put it out in the universe, and then I think it's a very important book. I'm taking a lot of time, and then even me myself, I'm doing a lot of research as far as like to change my mind frame, to understand, how to be bigger, how to be successful. So reading a book, The Laws of Thinking, definitely a great book. And I'm also reading another book called The 21 Laws as well, which is about like,
That's a John Maxwell book.
Yes,
isn't it?
that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And then the other one is by Reverend, I think Jordan, I forgot his last name, and that's what I'm using. It's about like a lot of manifestation. Like, and then I'm also reading a book from Russell Simmons called Do You. It's all about you.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. And Okay, I'm not trying to take up all
No,
your
no,
time,
that's
but
fine.
I do have another question for the audience because they see the end product, the success, right? But what's one of the biggest failures maybe you've had that like you're willing to share with the audience that
Well, my biggest failure is I used to own a lot of rental properties back in 2006, 2007. I ended up filing for bankruptcy for almost like $12 million worth of properties. So that was one of my biggest failures. I didn't know where to start, but with good friends, family, I was able to start all over again, and I'm here today. And it was a blessing. Sometimes you have to go through things in order, to become a better person.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a huge comeback.
That's definitely a huge comeback.
It happens. Well,
Yeah.
At the time I didn't have the experience. I didn't have anybody to train me, show me and I think I was growing a lot faster than I expected, and then I didn't know how to handle the amount of properties or the amount of success. And I mean, things happen, but it's just like you learn from your mistakes. That was one of my biggest mistakes, failures. Now, this is life.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's lot has changed since then.
Correct.
I appreciate you sharing that. with me.
No problem.
Yeah.
You gotta believe in yourself. So
Yeah.
I know that was in the end. You just got to believe in yourself.
Yeah. And I guess last question I would say then to wrap everything up is, like aside from the piece of advice that you've gotten, what's a piece of advice you may give to the audience?
Well, advice I would give to the audience, it's if they really want to get into real estate, they need to do a lot of research, talk to people like myself, like yourself, like Joey, who already have experience in the business. It's always good to network, to exchange ideas with others. We all could learn from each other. So it doesn't matter the fact that you're not part of the business, I can learn from you. I could learn from you as well, just like you could learn from me. So it's always network, that's the way to go.
Yeah, your network is your net worth. So
I agree.
Yeah.
all right, that basically concludes this episode. So Benz, how can people reach out to you or get in touch with you?
Well, I'm online. I have my office is located actually in Linden. I have like 3 offices there. My main office is at 225 Northwood Avenue in Linden. So we are suite number 6. The number to reach my office, whether it's going to be for credit or it's going to be for finance or for education. So we could be reached at 908-925-2308. And myself, they could always email me benz.jean@yahoo.com, which is my name. And I'm easy to get in touch with.
Okay.
Yes. Also on Facebook and Instagram as well, right?
Yes.
Can you give your Instagram handle?
Yeah, my Instagram is Benz_Jean, and Facebook it's Benz Jean. So I'm easy to get in touch with,
So BENZ
Z
_
JEAN.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
We'll also have that on the description as well.
So
On the bottom.
perfect. Thank you for having us. Oh, we didn't even mention this is actually your project that we're sitting in Irvington.
No. Thank you. The pleasure's mine as well too. So I like to give back, to the community, discuss exactly what I went through. It's okay. It's a passion, and the pleasure's mine. And then I really appreciate you guys reach out to me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Same here.
All right.